The Last of Us is a game that takes place in a
post
post-apocalyptic world where a fungus has turned most of humanity
The
into
main
zombie-like
character,
creatures.
Joel,
Is tasked with escorting a young girl named
Along
Ellie
the
across
way,
the country
they
to
face
face
dangerous
dangerous enemies
fighters.
and learn to rely
What are
on
you
each
doing?
other
Come
to
in here?
survive.
No.
No, who would come in here?
Don't go near.
This game is
Already?
one of the top 9 intense video games of the 2010s because it has a gripping story, great graphics, and intense gameplay. The game's emotional story and strong characters make players invested in their journey.
They drive cars?
Tommy! Holy shit!
Tommy, do something!
The gameplay is
You
challenging,
lift her.
as players must
Set it on
scavenge
your
for
back.
resources and use stealth tactics to avoid or fight enemies.
Whoa.
Overall, The Last of Us is a game that immerses players in a bleak and dangerous world, while also providing a compelling story and thrilling gameplay.
Daddy, we can't leave.
Dark Souls is an action role-playing game set in a dark and treacherous world called Lordran, where the player must fight their way through a variety of grueling enemies and bosses to reach the end and it is known for its intense difficulty, unforgiving gameplay, and deep lore that rewards players who explore and uncover the game's hidden reason why Dark Souls is considered one of the top 9 intense video games of the 2010s is due to its challenging gameplay that requires skill, strategy, and patience to overcome. The game doesn't hold the player's hand and often punishes mistakes harshly, leading to a feeling of accomplishment when a difficult boss or area is finally conquered. Additionally, the game's haunting atmosphere and intricate world building add to its intensity. Every area is filled with hidden lore and secrets, making the game feel like a mystery waiting to be solved. The player is constantly on edge, never knowing what dangers await around the corner. Overall, Dark Souls is a game that demands the player's attention, skill, and perseverance, earning its spot as one of the top 9 intense action role-playing video game that was released in 2015. The game takes place in the Gothic city of Yamam, where the player character is a hunter tasked with defeating the nightmarish creatures that roam the city. The game features fast-paced combat, intricate level design, and a deep lore that players can uncover through exploration and dialogue with non-playable characters. Bloodborne is considered one of the top 9 intense video games of the 2010s because of its challenging difficulty, gripping atmosphere, and unique blend of horror and action gameplay. The game's emphasis on exploration and discovery encourages players to delve deeper into the game's world, uncovering secrets in hidden areas. The combat, which involves dodging and parrying attacks, requires quick reflexes and strategic thinking. The game's bosses are notoriously difficult and require careful planning and execution to defeat. Overall, Bloodborne is a thrilling and intense experience that is sure to keep players on the edge of their seat. 2016 is a first-person shooter game set on a research facility on Mars. The player is a marine tasked with battling demons that have been unleashed through a portal from hell. The game features fast-paced combat with a variety of weapons and upgrades. The story unfolds through mission objectives and environmental clues, and the player must navigate a series of interconnected levels to ultimately close the portal and save humanity. Doom 2016 is one of the top 9 intense video games of the 2010s for several reasons. First, the game's combat is incredibly visceral and satisfying, with a focus on movement and quick reflexes. The game also features a diverse range of enemies, each with unique behaviors and weaknesses, keeping the player engaged and challenged throughout. Additionally, the game's level design is excellent, with intricate and interconnected environments that encourage exploration and reward mastery. Finally, the game's soundtrack is intense and adrenaline-pumping, amplifying the player's sense of urgency and immersion. Overall, Doom 2016 is a thrilling and highly intense gaming experience that is sure to satisfy fans of the genre. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is a survival horror game developed by Capcom. The game follows Ethan Winters, a man searching for his missing wife in a creepy plantation mansion in Louisiana. As he explores the mansion, he encounters dangerous and mutated creatures, as well as the terrifying Baker family who are seemingly immune to death. The game's intense gameplay is what makes it one of the top 9 intense video games of the 2010s.
This new guy? I'm not feeling it. Again? Just don't be surprised if we have to make a change.
The player must use their wits and limited resources to survive, as enemies can quickly overwhelm them.
Do you ever prep?
The game's first-person perspective adds to the fear factor, as it immerses the player in the horror and makes them feel like they are really there. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard also pushes the limits of what players expect from the series.
Andre? Where the fuck is he?
The game's story is a departure from the more action-focused games that came before it. Instead, it focuses on horror and exploration, making it a refreshing change of pace for fans of the series. Overall, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is a must-play for horror fans and those who want a truly intense gaming experience. Its combination of survival horror gameplay and immersive first-person perspective make it one of the most memorable and intense games of the 2010s. Alien Isolation is a survival horror game released in 2014. It follows the story of Amanda Ripley as she searches for her missing mother on a space station overrun by a single alien creature. The game is played from a first-person perspective, and players must use Alien Isolation to avoid the one of the top 9 intense video games navigating the station because of its intense and immersive gameplay. The alien is incredibly intelligent and adaptive, meaning players must constantly adapt their strategies to avoid detection and survive. The game also features a tense atmosphere, with limited resources and constant danger creating a sense of dread and urgency. The game's graphics and sound design are also excellent, helping to create a truly immersive experience. Overall, Alien Isolation is a must-play for fans of horror and survival games, and a standout title of the 2010s. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is an action-adventure video game set in a fictionalized version of feudal Japan. The game follows a shinobi named Sekiro who is on a mission to rescue his master and seek revenge against his enemies. The game is known for its intense combat system, which requires players to carefully time their attacks, parries, and dodges. The game also features a unique mechanic called the posture system, which allows players to break an enemy's guard and deal a devastating blow. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice also has an engaging story that explores themes of loyalty, honor, and revenge. The game's setting and characters are beautifully designed, and the attention to detail is impressive. Overall, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is one of the top 9 intense video games of the 2010s because of its challenging gameplay, captivating story, it's a must-play for anyone who enjoys action games and is looking for a thrilling experience. In Dead Space 2, you play as Isaac Clarke, a space engineer who finds himself trapped on a space station infested with necromorphs, twisted and mutated corpses of the station's former inhabitants. Isaac must fight his way through hordes of these monsters to uncover the secrets behind the outbreak and find a way to escape.
Isaac, are you there?
Dead Space 2 is one of the top 9 intense video games of the 2010s because of its immersive gameplay, terrifying atmosphere, and thrilling
shortly
storyline.
after their arrival.
The game's graphics and sound design are top-notch, creating a sense of claustrophobia and dread as you navigate the dark and abandoned corridors of the space station. The gameplay itself is challenging and rewarding, with a variety of weapons and upgrades to customize your gameplay style. The story is also well crafted, with plenty of twists and turns to keep you engaged throughout the game.
First thing in the morning.
Overall, Dead Space 2 is a must-play for any fan of horror or action games. Outlast is a survival horror game that was released in 2013. The game is set in an abandoned psychiatric hospital where players play as a journalist, Miles Upshur, who is investigating the hospital's secrets. The game was praised for its intense gameplay and immersive atmosphere, making it one of the top 9 intense video games of the 2010s. Players must navigate through dark corridors and avoid dangerous enemies while discovering the truth behind the hospital's horrific experiments. The game's use of night vision and limited resources make it challenging and terrifying. Outlast's success can be attributed to its well-designed gameplay, which places players in a constant state of fear and tension. The game's story is also well-written and engaging, keeping players invested in the world and its mysteries. Overall, Outlast is a must-play for any survival horror fan, and its status as one of the top 9 intense video games of the 2010s is well-deserved.